How many of you believe that your thoughts have the power to shape your reality? That your innermost desires can become tangible manifestations in your life? It's a concept that's gained popularity in recent years. Yet despite our best intentions, many still find themselves struggling to manifest their dreams. Let's break down the secret to making your dreams come true. It's all about how your mind, heart, and actions work together. Picture this. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions are like three best friends. They're always hanging out together, and they have a big influence on each other. Now, here's the thing. Just thinking happy thoughts isn't going to cut it. Sure, it's important to stay positive, but that's only one piece of the puzzle. To truly make your dreams a reality, you need to get all three amigos, your thoughts, emotions, and actions, on the same page. Let's start with your thoughts. They're like the captain of the ship, steering you in a certain direction. If you're constantly thinking negative thoughts or doubting yourself, it's like trying to sail through stormy seas. But if you can train your mind to think positively and believe in yourself, it's smooth sailing ahead. Next up, we have your emotions. They're like the wind in your sails, propelling you forward or holding you back. If you're feeling happy, excited, and passionate about your dreams, it's like catching a strong tailwind that pushes you closer to your goals. But if you're bogged down by fear, doubt, or worry, it's like trying to sail against the wind. It's tough going. Finally, we have your actions. They're like the oars you use to row your boat. If you're taking inspired action towards your goals, it's like rowing with purpose and direction. But if you're just sitting back and waiting for things to happen, it's like drifting aimlessly in the ocean. So how do you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions to manifest your dreams? It starts with awareness. Pay attention to the thoughts you're thinking and the emotions you're feeling. Are they in alignment with the reality you wish to create? If not, it's time to make some changes. So, let's break it down. We know that our thoughts have a profound effect on our lives. In fact, we think thousands of thoughts each day, and the majority of them are recycled from the day before. This means that if you're constantly dwelling on the same negative thoughts and beliefs, you're only perpetuating the same reality. Let's dive a little deeper into the art of manifesting something new in your life. It's like planting a seed and watching it grow into a beautiful flower. But before you can plant that seed, you need to do some gardening in your mind. Imagine your mind is like a garden. It's filled with all sorts of thoughts and beliefs, some of which you're aware of, and some that are hiding beneath the surface. These hidden thoughts and beliefs are like weeds. They can choke out your dreams if you're not careful. So the first step in manifesting something new is to become aware of these unconscious thoughts and beliefs. It's like shining a light into the darkest corners of your mind and uncovering what's been hiding there all along. Once you've uncovered these hidden thoughts and beliefs, it's time to observe them without judgment. This is important because when you judge yourself for having negative thoughts, you only give them more power. Instead, try to observe them with curiosity and compassion, as if you're watching clouds passing in the sky. But it doesn't stop there. You must also align your emotions with your desires. Emotions are the fuel that powers manifestation. If you're harboring feelings of doubt, fear, or lack, you're sending out vibrations that repel your desires rather than attract them. Now let's talk about how to put this into practice. It's all about how you feel inside. Imagine your dreams have already come true. Picture yourself living the life you've always wanted. Feel the joy, the excitement, and the gratitude as if it's happening right now. When you do this, you're sending a powerful message to the universe. You're saying, I believe in my dreams and I'm ready to receive them. And guess what? The universe listens. It responds to the energy you put out into the world. So, how do you cultivate these emotions of gratitude, joy, and excitement? It's simpler than you might think. Start by focusing on the things you're grateful for in your life right now. It could be something as small as a beautiful sunrise or a kind word from a friend. Take a moment each day to acknowledge these blessings and feel gratitude in your heart. Next, tap into the joy and excitement of your future. close your eyes and visualize yourself living your dream life. Imagine the sights, the sounds, the feelings of happiness and fulfillment. Let yourself get excited about the possibilities that lie ahead. Now, here's where many people go wrong. They try to manifest a new reality while holding on to the same old identity. But the truth is, if you want to create something new, you must first become someone new. This means letting go of the limiting beliefs and patterns that have kept you stuck in the past. It means redefining yourself from the inside out and aligning with the vision of the future you wish to create. So how do you do this? How do you become the person who effortlessly manifests their dreams? It starts with defining a clear vision of the future you desire. Without a vision, you're simply drifting through life, reacting to the same old circumstances. Take the time to imagine in vivid detail the life you want to live, the relationships, the career, the abundance. See it, feel it, believe it. When you hold a clear and compelling vision in your mind, you begin to align with the energy of that reality. Now let's delve a little deeper into this concept. Manifestation isn't merely sitting back and hoping for things to fall into place. It's more than that. It's about getting up and doing something about it. It's about taking action, but not just any action, inspired action. When you're aligned with your vision, something magical happens. You start to see the path laid out before you, and you're filled with a sense of purpose and direction. You know exactly what steps you need to take to turn your dreams into reality. Think of it like this. Imagine you're driving down a road without a map or GPS. You have no idea where you're going, so you just keep driving aimlessly, hoping you'll stumble upon your destination. But when you have a clear vision of where you want to go, it's like having a GPS guiding you every step of the way. You know which turns to take, which roads to avoid, and you're confident you'll reach your destination. That's what it's like when you're aligned with your vision. You're not just taking random actions, you're taking purposeful, intentional steps towards your goals. And because you're in tune with your vision, you're able to recognize opportunities and seize them when they arise. But let's not forget the importance of patience and perseverance. Manifestation isn't always a quick process. It takes time, effort, and dedication. There may be obstacles along the way, but when you're aligned with your vision, you have the resilience to overcome them. But perhaps the most important aspect of successful manifestation is learning to surrender to the flow of life. Trust that the universe has a plan for you and that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. So I urge you to avoid the common mistakes that lead to manifestation failure. Let go of old thought patterns, align your emotions with your desires, redefine yourself from the inside out, and take inspired action towards your dreams. When you do this, you'll join the ranks of the 1% who succeed at manifesting, thinking about, and changing it. You begin to become conscious of your unconscious actions or habits or behaviors and modify them. And then we have to begin to look at the emotions that we live by every single day that keep us connected to the past and decide, do these emotions belong in our future? So most people are trying to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. You literally have to become someone else. And can you select a new possibility in the quantum field and begin to emotionally embrace that future every single day to such a degree that your body, as the unconscious mind, the objective mind, does not know the difference between the experience in your life that's creating the emotion and the emotion that you're fabricating by thought alone, to the degree that you begin to signal new genes and new ways to change your body to look like the experience has already happened. Now, the latest research in epigenetics says it's absolutely possible. This every day, installing the circuitry every day, conditioning the body into the emotion of the future that your body begins to change to look like it's already happened. Now this is where it gets fun, because now you no longer have to go anywhere to get it. If you think that your thoughts have something to do with your future, just from a theoretical standpoint, that your thoughts create your destiny, and you think 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day, and 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before, well then your life isn't going to change very much, as long as you're thinking the same way. If you're not being defined by a vision of the future, then you're left with the memories of the past. Is it possible then that the way you think and the way you feel can begin to produce effects in your outer world? Now that isn't something that you swallow in one bite. It's a process of gaining knowledge. It's a process of practice. It's a process of experience. But once you start seeing those synchronicities, those coincidences, those opportunities, that start to fall into place because you're experiencing change in your outer world. If you're doing the work, you're going to start paying attention to what you're doing inside of you that's producing the effect outside of you. And once you correlate the changes of what you're doing inside of you with the effect you produce outside of you, you're going to pay attention to what you did and you're going to do it again. And all of a sudden, you're going to start believing more that you're the creator of your life and less of the victim of your life. And those same thoughts lead to the same choices. The same choices lead to the same behaviors. The same behaviors create the exact same experiences, and we anticipate the same feelings or emotions from those experiences, and those emotions are the payoff that drive our very same thoughts. Well, our biology, our neurocircuitry, our neurochemistry, our hormones, and even our gene expression will be equal to how we think, how we act, and how we feel. And how we think, how we act, and how we feel is called our personality. And our personality creates our personal reality. That's it. I want people to begin to understand that thoughts are very powerful, feelings drive our thoughts, and that they can begin to create a better life for themselves once they understand some of these principles. We live in a world where often when people think about visioning the future, they vision stuff. So you have a vision of the car you want, or you have a vision of an amount of money you want, or you have a vision of a home you want, and you see this with people with their vision boards. What's your take on that? And is that the right type of visioning? And what is the right type of visioning? Well, we do so many different variations because I think people integrate information differently. And all of those cars and homes and whatever that is, they are symbols of what it looks like when a person actually arrives at this concept called abundance, right? So if those things help them to associate with something that creates a feeling of abundance, and they're building their vision board to help them to get clear on their intent, then that's fine. Because they're associating objects or things or material things that they'll say, that's when I know that I'm abundant. That's fine. Other people will say, look, abundance just means that I have more than I need, and I'm happy with that. And for them, there's a feeling that is associated with that. And when they begin to dream about their future, they may see themselves in a scene or see themselves a certain way. I don't care what it takes for the person to get there, because once they have their abundance, and this happens quite a bit in our work, when you finally have everything you want, there's only one thing you're going to ask yourself: how am I going to contribute to the world? How am I going to make a difference? So we use different tools to help people to get to that point. But if the person's doing the vision board and they're saying, when I get my new car, I get my new house, I get my new relationship, then I'm going to feel so great. Well, then they're back to the program, waiting for it to happen, for them to feel the emotion. They're believing their outer world has to change in order for them to feel better. There's no effect of drawing the experience to you that way. So the person has to use those tools to get them into the emotional state for them to feel like it's already happened. Now think about this. If you get up from a creative process and you feel grateful, you feel a love for life, you feel a joy for existence, you feel a passion for the moment, you will not be looking for your future because you'll feel like it's already happened. It's the moment that we start feeling those self-limiting emotions, that we feel separation, and then we start looking for it again. Well then, if you're waiting, you're not creating, you're in separation again. So then, whatever it takes for you to move into a state of being. And what is a state of being? Thoughts are the vocabulary of the brain. Feelings are the vocabulary of your body. How you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So then, if you wake up in the morning and you come back to your senses with a clean slate, and you say, I don't feel anything, and you say, well, let me start thinking about all the problems in my life. Well, all those problems are connected to different people or different objects or things at different times and places. The moment you remember your problems, a memory is a record of the past. You're thinking in the past. Every one of those problems has an emotion associated with them. So all of a sudden you start feeling unhappy, you start feeling bitter, you start feeling frustrated. So now your body's in the past. So then most people then create a state of being that's connected to their past. The same behaviors create the same experiences, and the same experiences produce the same emotions, and those very same emotions drive the very same thoughts. And your biology, your neurocircuitry, your neurochemistry, your neurohormones, and even your genetic expression is equal to how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And how you think, how you act, and how you feel is called your personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. So then, if you wanted to create a new personal reality, a new life, then you would have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and change it. You would have to become aware of your unconscious thoughts and observe them. You would have to pay attention to your automatic habits and behaviors and modify them. And you would have to look at the emotions you live by every single day that are connected to your past and decide if those emotions belong in your future. You see, most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. You literally have to become someone else. And you are here this week to learn vital information about creating a future and be defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past. Because if you are not defined by some vision that is bigger than you and you are not passionate about that vision, then you are left with the old hardware of the past in your brain and you will be predictable in your life. So would you agree then? New thoughts, new information should lead to new choices. New choices should lead to new behaviors. And new behaviors should create new experiences. And new experiences should produce new emotions. And those new emotions should drive new thoughts. And that's called evolution. So if your brain is a record of the past and you don't have a vision of the future, then you are living in the past and you will never arrive at that new future. Now there's another potential for you to exist free from the chains of the old self. That potential exists right now. Now where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So you want that energy to move right to the top of your head. So then as you inhale, you bring that energy all the way up to the top. You keep following your breath. You lock all the way to the top. When you get to the top, now you hold your breath. And when you hold your breath, you contract those intrinsic muscles and you begin to lift those muscles up and you begin to compress those muscles and you begin to push that cerebral spinal fluid up into your brain. So then why do I ask you to inhale and hold your breath? Now this isn't inhaling and turning purple and pushing. If you're doing that, you're doing it wrong. It's a slow, steady breath and you follow that breath all the way to the top, either to the top of your head or you put your awareness on where that pineal gland is between the back of your throat and the back of your head. Now, when you inhale, that inhalation is very slow and very steady. It's not a big inhalation and pushing. It's a slow, steady breath, and you're contracting these muscles and coordinating it, and you're following your breath all the way to the top of your head. And when you get to the top of your head, I'm going to ask you to inhale a little bit more, and as you pull up, you're going to lock these muscles down even further, and you're lifting them up. Once you lift them up and you have your attention either on the top of your head or the space that your pineal gland occupies in space, I'm going to ask you to lock those muscles down and pump, squeeze, or push. And I want you to push that fluid up into your brain by squeezing the muscles. Not by holding your breath harder, but by squeezing those muscles. I want you to begin to pump that fluid and begin to compress up against your pineal gland. When you do this breath, you have to demonstrate a will that's greater than any program. You have to find a level of intensity or a level of passion that's greater than the body as the mind or any addiction to any emotion. You have to be inspiration, the movement of energy. Don't be afraid of it. Just surrender into it. For some people, their body will do unusual things. That's information trying to be integrated into it. Don't be afraid of it. Just surrender into it. If your body does weird things, more than likely that's energy moving to your brain. If you have a lapse of consciousness or you all of a sudden find yourself on the ground, that's energy moving into your brain. It's happened to me numerous times. It's a sign that you're getting close or at least doing it correctly. Now where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So you want that energy to move right to the top of your head. Inspiration, the movement of energy. You have to find a level of intensity or a level of passion that's greater than the body as the mind or any addiction to any emotion. Don't be afraid of it. Just surrender into it. On a Sunday morning, while she was in the shower, her husband said goodbye to his 2 children, yelled something to her while she was in the shower, and then went to the tallest building in Amsterdam and jumped off the building and committed suicide. Now that is a stressful event, and when she got the news, she experienced all the emotions that people experience from something that's shocking and traumatic like that. She was suffering, she was in pain, she was resentful, she was guilty, she was confused, she was angry. She went through the whole gamut of emotions, and all of those emotions, by the way, are derived from the hormones of stress. So she has an event in her life. It changes her biologically. She doesn't know how to control her emotional reaction. It turns into a mood, one long emotional reaction. If you keep reviewing that event in your mind, you begin to produce the same chemistry in your brain and body as if the event was occurring. So her body is being conditioned to the past because she's reliving the experience 50 to 100 times in a day, and her body is beginning to believe it's in the same past experience over and over again. It ultimately goes from a mood to a temperament, and now people are asking her in her life, "Why are you so upset?" She tells the story, and she's basically saying, I am this way because of this event that happened to me 4 months ago. So then if we keep that going for extended periods of time, and those emotions are driving our thoughts, and we can't think greater than how we feel, our feelings have become the means of thinking. We're thinking in the past, and now we're stuck in our biology. So one day she wakes up, and she's completely paralyzed from her waist down. And she can't get out of bed, so they rush her to the hospital. They do MRIs, they do all the tests. They can't find anything significant with her, so they just diagnose her with neuritis. And so now she's bedridden, and she cannot literally get out of bed. So now she can't work, she can't take care of her children. Her mother has to move in with her, and she doesn't have any money because she's not working, and her stress levels go up. So now the condition gets worse. As her stress levels go up, it's the same chemicals of stress that are knocking the brain and body out of balance, signaling the wrong genes in the wrong way. And another few months later, she develops these huge ulcerations in all the mucous membranes of her body, in her mouth, her throat, her upper stomach, her bladder, her vagina, her anus. She's got these huge ulcers. Now she can't eat, and if she can't eat, she's knocking her body now out of chemical balance even more, and it hurts. So now she's spiraling downward, and then she finally starts noticing her symptoms getting worse, and she goes to the doctor, and they diagnose her with esophageal cancer. Now, the moment she gets the diagnosis of esophageal cancer, now she gets even more stressed, and she's in fear now, and she realizes that her children may not have a mom. And so she came to one of our workshops, And I remember specifically because she came in with crutches and a wheelchair and a walker, and she sat on the left side of the room. And it was an introductory level course, and she understood that she could change it intellectually, but she had a very big challenge ahead of her, and she realized how much she was in her past. She had a vision of her future. Like she wasn't visualizing anything, she just got a very clear vision. And she was so excited that she went home and she did her meditation every single day. Now she understood that she had to upregulate new genes and downregulate genes that had to do with her disease, and that every day she had to knock on the genetic door. Now, the first thing I want to say is that I'm certain that there were days that she didn't feel like doing her meditation, and she did that anyway. She did it anyway. There were days where she had a tremendous amount of doubt, and she didn't think it was possible, but she did her meditations every single day. The universe only gives us what we think we're worthy of receiving, so we gotta come initiated into this and understand it. If you want to create a new life, a new personal reality, you gotta change your personality, which means you better start thinking about what you've been thinking about and changing it. You begin to become conscious of your unconscious actions or habits or behaviors and modify them. And then we have to begin to look at the emotions that we live by every single day that keep us connected to the past and decide, do these emotions belong in our future? So most people are trying to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. You literally have to become someone else. And can you select a new possibility in the quantum field and begin to emotionally embrace that future every single day to such a degree that your body, as the unconscious mind, the objective mind, does not know the difference between the experience in your life that's creating the emotion and the emotion that you're fabricating by thought alone, to the degree that you begin to signal new genes and new ways to change your body to look like the experience has already happened. Now, the latest research in epigenetics says it's absolutely possible. This every day, installing the circuitry every day, conditioning the body into the emotion of the future, that your body begins to change to look like it's already happened. Now, this is where it gets fun, because now you no longer have to go anywhere to get it. If you think that your thoughts have something to do with your future, just from a theoretical standpoint, that your thoughts create your destiny, and you think 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day, and 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before, well, then your life isn't going to change very much as long as you're thinking the same way. If you're not being defined by a vision of the future, then you're left with the memories of the past. Is it possible then that the way you think and the way you feel can begin to produce effects in your outer world? Now, that isn't something that you swallow in one bite. Can you believe that you can imagine a future you can't see or feel yet, and by thinking about it a lot, your brain starts to believe it's already happened? Recent studies show that you can train your brain to think about the future instead of the past. And can you fall so in love with this future vision that you change your feelings of guilt or suffering into inspiration, joy, and gratitude? When you do this, your body, which reacts automatically, starts to believe it's already living in that future. This makes your body act like the future has happened now, and it starts to change itself to match this new reality. Studies in epigenetics show that you can actually change your body through your thoughts alone. Think about it. If your brain and body are convinced that the future has already happened, then they are no longer stuck in the past. They are living in the future, and you will start to see your vision come to life. When you first began imagining this vision, you activated a part of your brain called the frontal lobe, which makes up 40% of your brain. This part is responsible for creativity and connects to all other brain areas. When you asked yourself questions like, what would it be like to be a leader? Or what would it be like to succeed? You activated the frontal lobe. The rest of the brain runs on automatic programs, but the frontal lobe, the creative center, wakes up and starts working. It selects and combines different networks of neurons in your brain based on what you've learned or experienced. This creates new patterns of thought. Changing these patterns means you are changing your mind, because your mind is your brain in action. When these new neural connections fire, you get a mental picture or vision. When you are passionate about this vision, your thoughts generate strong emotions like enthusiasm and joy. This combination of a clear goal and strong emotions starts to change you on a deep level. Your brain and body begin to shift from living in the past to living in the future. When you start writing down what you will do to achieve this vision, including goals and emotions, you are focusing on your future. You also need to write down what you won't do and what behaviors you want to avoid. This helps you separate your old self from the new self you want to become. When you observe your old self and make different choices, you start to become more aware of yourself. This is when you begin to move towards the new version of yourself. I did an experiment to see if thinking about something could change your brain. I had people who had never played the piano before. We split them into 4 groups. The first group practiced piano scales for 2 hours a day for 2 weeks. We scanned their brains before and after. After 2 weeks, new brain circuits had developed. This shows that just thinking about something can create new brain circuits. So, learning new things creates new connections in your brain.